Yep, recording is started. Okay, so first of all, welcome Craig. Craig is our new manager of the team, and he will be working with Camille, Yan, and everybody. Oh, here, Eric Brinkman comes. Oh, okay. So repeat, welcome Craig. And Craig, so just to let you know, on the screen, Tanya is a QE manager for our team and our partner. And Mac is a QE director. And Camille, of course, you talk to him, you know him. And Eric Brinkman, you also talk to him. Eric is our acting product manager. He's hiring a lot of product managers for our different groups. So yeah, and this is the team, and welcome.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Any questions to Craig? Did you anyone just attended the company call yesterday, right? So you heard his self-introduction. So I assume that's the case.
I will just say it's great to have you here, Craig. I'm excited. Ever since I spoke to you, I was excited to have you on the team. And so welcome aboard and excited to work with you.
Yeah, thanks. Same here. I've been excited for weeks to join the team, and now I'm drinking from the fire hose, so I'll catch up at some point in
time. Okay. So next item is it's just a reminder that we agree that from each month from the first day to the 7th day, basically June 1st to 7th, we are in the planning mode. Let's do the async planning in the in Slack channel. But the board is there. The links to the board is at the channel's topic or channel's summary there. So 2 links there. Use the planning board to do the planning, and we'll discuss real time there in the channel. Like since like breaking down the issues to smaller pieces and what we want to do for next release, those kind of planning and grooming. Yeah, just a kind of reminder. And the next coming release is 12.1, if I'm correct. That planning is for the 12.1 release. Yeah, we are working on the 12.0 right now. Yeah, thank you. That is a status update for 12.0. That was Camille. That must be you, right?
Yes, I'm still started putting the in our docs. There is not really a lot of items that we work on, but I guess that in one of the future meetings we basically could walk through the board when we have more people joining. It's kind of quick summary of what things are happening now. If you have any questions about these things, feel free to ask right now.
I probably don't have questions.
It seems that we are on the track. We have all the data. I actually started right now adding additional metrics to our Grafana dashboards from the Puma. We're just gonna start running some tests today to start validating some assumptions. Everything is kind of behaving as expected. So from my perspective, I didn't expect any immediate changes from the memory consumption on the Puma. It's kind of it seems that for the small installations, it seems to be the sum net zero pretty much. I can read this thread from my today's investigation and trying that out. It seems that we are just gonna with 12.0 we're gonna announce Puma as a preview, and we're gonna start testing on the GitHub.com.
Cool, great. So that will be the 12.0. When we release it, we're going to announce that Puma will be available for general purpose, and I mean developers purpose, right?
Yes, exactly. And I think that the next item that you mentioned is the grooming that we start pretty much right now. till the kickoff date.
Cool. Yeah, and also circling back to the grooming and the planning, whenever we get chance, just go ahead and do it. It doesn't have to be between the first day and the 7th day. Anytime, if we have ideas to break down any issue or escalate any issue, assign the priority to the issue. So anytime. And what else? So something else was in the discussion that Dalia was working with her team to see to implement a little change to groom the backlog more frequently. She's thinking about weekly grooming to keep us moving faster. I think that's a good idea, but we don't have to be weekly. Maybe, I mean, at a pace we're comfortable for, that works best for our team. So it's just a food for thought. I heard Dalia proposed that to for her teams, because we observed that it's probably better. It will help us moving faster, because more frequent grooming, more frequent reprioritization will keep us moving faster, definitely. So food for thought. I haven't made an item here, but it's up to the team. We can discuss what's the best for us. But in general, my idea is probably a good thing to do. Yeah, that's the only agenda items I accumulate. Next one, memory consumption seems to be net zero as of today. So you have something to say about that?
No, it's actually what I mentioned a few minutes ago. So like Puma itself, for the small installation, it doesn't really make a lot of difference from the memory consumption. Mm-hmm. Like what I explained right now, when we enabled that for the GitLab.com for the, like, if we have 16 workers, for example, this is when we should like see the difference.
Cool.
So like Puma, it's more like it's really tricky, because like from the performance point of view, it also doesn't seem to like show you like that this is way faster or like it's better memory consumption, but this kind of model of operation like gives us more features basically to play with.
Yeah.
It's technically it's not really like yet that we're gonna achieve like the big benefits with like the Puma itself. The Puma just opens us to being more efficient in the future, but like today it's not gonna make the GitLab to be like consume 30% less memory. It's not gonna happen with 12.0.
Yeah, cool. So it only helps. I mean, the help is significant for large deployment, but for small deployments, it's. I recall. Yeah, go ahead.
So actually, like with the settings that we have today for the small deployments, it seems to make no difference at all. But we could fine tune the small deployments to make it like a little more efficient. So like we could likely have we would use something like between like 300 or 400 less memory on the small deployment. If you would like change from like 2 concurrent workers running on the Puma to 1 worker. The question there is really like what implication it has to the killer settings that we have. I mean, we are killing workers for the Puma and Unicorn as well if they like if they go over some threshold limit on the memory settings. So if we find that like we can skip like 1 worker for the Puma, this is when we're gonna see like the memory improvement, because the running footprint could be like something like 200 to 400 less memory for the small installations. But like it's still like our recommendation is 8 gigs right now, so it doesn't really make it like way better than that. Like so the benefit of doing that is like it's way less than like what we would like it to have it in the end.
Okay, so performance-wise, we don't see a degradation by using Puma on a smaller deployment, at least. I mean, it's comparable to Unicorn. And the memory footprint, there will be some increase, but not significant.
Yes. So on the performance thing, everything is about the tuning, because like from what I saw the performance degradation on Puma of like 10% because of running 16 concurrent threads on the single CPU. So Unicorn works in the model that like you run concurrently max 2 requests with the default settings. On the Puma, this pool of threads is much bigger. So actually, like I was seeing like the contention of the execution. So really, like right now, the thing that we have to work on is figuring out the defaults that like we don't see the performance degradation, because we see some small performance degradation right now, and like using of the Puma of the small installation can actually create a much bigger contention issue than like having Unicorn. So I would say that like we have to tune down a little like the Puma settings to make it like use maybe not expose like 16 threads, but rather maybe expose like 4 threads, which should be like way more, but it should be way more efficient than Unicorn, and it should basically give us a little better resource utilization with no performance degradation. So like memory consumption seems to be like pretty much equal to the default settings that we have with the Unicorn, but the ballooning of the memory can like with the Puma can be much bigger than what is happening with the Unicorn. Because in the Unicorn model, like we have one request running on the Unicorn, which can like, we actually give a balance there of something like 100 or 200 megs on top of like the idle memory. We actually also give the same amount for the Puma, but actually Puma can run multiple requests concurrently in the single process. So we have to tune a little differently the upper limit of the single worker process to accommodate to these multiple threads running. So it can result that like we may have a little higher memory consumption of the single worker, but we're gonna maybe run just a one worker, which in the end should give us a much better like performance and a little better memory consumption than Unicorn, because then we don't really need to like 2 unicorns concurrently. Maybe just one Puma with like 4 threads or 8 threads. This is actually what I'm trying right now to figure out. Our pre environment actually is configured like with single CPU, which seems like the ideal example of like tuning the small scale installation too. So I'm gonna basically right now try to get our load balancing, not load balancing, the artillery test suite to figure out what is the sweet limit between memory usage, memory limits, a number of workers, and like try to ship something, and then we could tune it further for the 20.0.
Cool. So it sounded like when we put it in production, we need a good documentation for the customers how to configure their Puma server, depending on what their deployment is.
Yes, and I think that like what we're gonna do, and this is what I'm gonna start doing, maybe like with the creating issue, I would like us to make Canary, our GitLab.com Canary, to run on the Puma for our purpose, and we could gather metrics and monitor from there to better understand how it works on the big scale deployments, not really on the small scale deployments. So actually, I think that like with the Puma, there's gonna be a little fine tuning there and figuring out what those different settings do mean for the memory consumption and the performance.
Okay, so Tanya is away. Mac is probably something that we want to test different configurations. Later on, this is a later task. We need to test the different configurations and then write up the recommendation for different scales of the deployment.
Yeah, that's going to need help from infra, because I don't think we can liberally set up environments that fast right now. I know that Jerry is working on Terraform scripts to set up newer, small environments that we can set up at scale. Yeah, so how many combinations are we looking at, Camille? And what's the timeline, do you know?
I would just figure out like just this small thing first. Like let's like not over engineer like our solutions. Let's just start with the small thing and let's see exactly how it behaves on the GitLab.com. And like I think like these two extents should give us like impression what kind of else data we are looking at. I don't really think that like we need anything more at this point. The environments that we have, it seems like good enough for me at this moment.
Cool, great, okay. Thank you. And Mac, your comment, the entire release planning is also moving to twice a month. That's good. So I think we can do either weekly or bi-weekly. I think either way, but the team makes the call. What's the best for us? But in general, that's a good practice. We can move faster with the frequent planning and grooming. Thank you, Mike. I was not aware of that. And then Tanya is out from June 3rd to 14th, and I'm out from the 8th to 23rd. So that's just a heads up. Yeah. Mac, should we do a roundtable update on the new hires timeline? Yes. Yeah, my fault. I should have a hiring update here. And also your hiring, of course. You got there. The GUI Senior Test Automation Engineer starting on June 17th. Let me get engineering update here. We have actually 2 new hires onboarding next week. One is Monday, one is Wednesday. So
it's going to be a party.
Yes, it's going to be a party next week. Yeah, that's the update. So next week, next Thursday, we'll see 2 new faces. Any, yeah, that's the end of the agenda. Thank you, Camille. Yeah, and also just for, yeah.
It takes me a few moments to figure out what is the ordering.
And I think this is good for Craig to know the convention here to use the international format. So yeah, let's always keep that in mind, use the international format.
So I'm gonna create a table on the top of this document so we could all like put like the start and end date of when people are off. It's gonna be easier to keep track of that.
Yeah, that's a good point. I usually did that before, but yeah, let's put it there. Thank you, Camille. Yeah, that's very much the topics today. Anything else that we didn't go through today? Going once? Going twice? Cool, that's the meeting today. Thank you very much. Eric, I will ping you right after this. Have some updates for you.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.